All right, continuing in special populations, I will start with senior adults. Senior adults are grouped as a person 65 years and older. So I will talk specifically about them in age. Now, these guidelines are including anyone 65 and older and discluding someone that has been fit and healthy their entire life. Let me rephrase that. Fit, that is exercising, does not necessarily fit into these guidelines for a 65 plus just because they are 65 plus. But if a sedentary client comes to you who is 65 or older, these are the guidelines that you are going to want to follow. So some characteristics of aging: our cardiovascular system begins to decline, how we use our oxygen, our strength, our heart rate, our lung capacity. These things are all going down, and it's typically due to a sedentary life. Not that it's age that causes this, it's the sedentarism that kicks in as we age. So a lot of the things with flexibility, bone density, joint pain, obesity, a lower resting metabolic rate, research is showing that this is not directly related to age, an increase in age, but a decrease in activity. So with a 65 or plus year old person, a lot of what they're coming to you for is to control disease states, to live better, to feel better. We're looking at controlling blood pressure, diabetes, protecting against diabetes, preventing diabetes, depression, anxiety are issues that stem up. The gym can be a very social place as well, but someone's health becomes our primary focus as time goes on and our bodies begin to change. So we're also dealing with osteoporosis, arthritis, changes in weight. Like I said, a lot of these are due to a sedentary lifestyle, but also to lessen pain of other disease states or improve them and perhaps get off medication. Okay, so aerobic exercise, when it comes to our guidelines for this, aerobic exercise can be used to improve muscle tone. You don't have to do strength training necessarily and lift heavy weights. In certain disease states, with arthritis, with osteoporosis, you want that muscle tone, you want that to enhance the skeletal structure, but their body may not be able to handle heavy strength training anymore. So aerobic exercise to improve the cardiovascular fitness and the muscle tone, nothing's really off the list. As long as it's moderate intensity, 5 days a week, at least 30 minutes, and sometimes you get in some vigorous activity. So these, vigorous is not off limits. The intensity doesn't have to be moderate, but you want at least a little bit of vigorous to really push that cardiovascular system. Because with seniors, you might be dealing with osteoporosis, arthritis, diabetes, history of stroke, coronary artery disease, the warm-up is very important. With any of these special populations we'll talk about, the warm-up is very important because it can help with the outcome of the workout itself and how your client will feel during the workout, or it helps the disease state that they have prepare for the workout to be able to actually complete it. Now, weight training in senior adults helps to promote muscular strength and flexibility. It can also help with balance. That's one thing that changes, especially if someone has come from being sedentary, they've gained weight, they don't have the same sense of the body as they did the last time they were active, only because they haven't been using it. So, helping with balance, lessening hip injuries, falls, and hospital stays. You always want to include a warm-up and a cool-down. Just like children, as we age, we have a harder time controlling our body temperature, so we want to warm it up and then we want to cool it back down. In terms of resistance training, machines, again, are preferable to free weights. They are just safer. You don't have to worry about balance issues. They are controlled. The movement is controlled and sometimes assisted. You want to do higher reps and at least one set of 8 to 10 exercises. And they don't need to do more than that, especially if you have someone that doesn't enjoy it. You can get by with a minimum of one set. So our exercise prescription for senior adults, the intensity varies because the person's exercise history, their current fitness level isn't dictated by their age. Low to moderate can be best for someone that is coming to you sedentary. Low, 40% to moderate, 60, 65. Beginning to walk is a good thing because it's something someone already does, and by working on walking, you can improve their daily activities because we all have to walk somewhere during our day. Frequency, at least 3 to 5 days a week, from 20 to 60 minutes, depending on cardiovascular health, and low impact, non-impact activities are best. Osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a skeletal disease. It's a deterioration of our bones. And it can be very painful to people that are suffering from this and make movement painful. It also makes someone with osteoporosis a little bit more hesitant to do, for lack of a better word, dangerous things, because their bones are a little bit more brittle, because what has happened is they've reached their peak bone mass at age 25, and the disease itself, age hurts us because our bones aren't regenerating themselves. They are in a constant stage of regeneration, degeneration. And as we're building our bone mass, we're building it, and tearing it down at the same time, but the rate at which it's rebuilding is faster, so we're able to improve our bone mass. With age, that goes down, and it's deteriorating faster than it can rebuild itself. So anything that can be done to help maintain that will help. Someone with osteoporosis is facing that deterioration at an even greater rate. So anything they can do to pretty much just slow down the rate of deterioration will be beneficial to them and the quality of life. So with someone with osteoporosis, you're looking at certain body areas that may be more fragile and don't need to be trained because you don't want to put even more stress on a potentially fragile area. So we're looking at different parts of the spine, the different certain vertebrae of our spine. You see spinal changes with hunching, extreme kyphosis, lordosis, rounding of the back. Also the hip. Some of those major joints that for our entire life have carried our body weight are breaking down at a faster rate. So just to make sure make sure that your client does, typically it's a genetic disease, that diet can influence, that exercise and lifestyle can influence as well. Genetics is one thing we can't overcome, but how women especially are prone to osteoporosis, getting the correct amount of calcium on a daily basis for our entire lives will help us reach the highest peak bone mass that we can, and help us to continue maintaining that as we age. Exercise stimulates bone regeneration. When we use our bodies, when we do weight-bearing activity, our bones are inspired to continue building themselves, and you can help that ratio of regeneration to degeneration be more favorable. And lifestyle, smoking and heavy alcohol use can also affect the bone density in a negative way. Guidelines for osteoporosis when it comes to aerobic exercise, you're looking at low intensity work. You want to work it, but it's about moving the body, not how hard. You don't want those jars. So we're looking at 40 to 70% at a minimum of 3 days a week for 20 to 30 minutes. You also want to do an emphasis on stretching to help with postural exercises and balance. Weight training, it's very important to improve the legs, abdomen, and back, our postural muscles, because poor posture will lead to poor balance that can lead to a fall. And falls can be very tragic for someone that suffers them later in life. So all exercises want to be slow and controlled and non-jarring. And that is what I just said. And that is all for osteoporosis.